guys, this is Chubbs. I'm going to be playing as an Empire of the Sun, or Japan, and what I'll do first is deploy this builder unit into a power plant in the sea, and there he goes.
Construction complete.
And once that is deployed, I'll wait for it to finish building, then we'll get a refinery. And here comes the refinery, and as you'll notice, Japan is pretty unique. Instead of clicking and placing buildings, you first construct a builder unit and then you send it to wherever you want the building to go. So there goes my first refinery, and then here comes a second refinery. So I'm actually getting two here at the beginning, and the reason I skipped the barracks is because the enemy likes to send bears and dogs out at the beginning to camp at your barracks, and they can cause trouble, so I'd usually avoid that as Japan. So once my first refinery's done, I'm going to go ahead and get a war factory instead of a barracks. So here comes my war factory, and let's see, here comes the builder unit. I'll deploy it here in the center of my little base here. So there we go, and I'm going to go ahead and my power is low, as you just heard there, so I'll go ahead and get a power plant queued up, and my war factory is being built. Go ahead and place the power plant here in the sea, and I'm going to go ahead and once this war factory is complete, what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct a it's basically like a mech unit. It's an anti-infantry, anti-air also, I believe, unit, and I'm going to send that in just to harass him here at the beginning. So there it comes. As you can see, it's got like a jetpack on the back of it, so it looks cool. And I'm going to go ahead and get a shipyard, as you'll see here. So I'm going to start producing some naval units. Here comes my shipyard. I'm going to place it right here. Okay, and while that's being done, I'm going to go over here to my war factory, and I'm actually going to go to the unit that's going to harass him now, and here it comes. It's on its way there. There's my
enemy base detected.
Here we go.
Units detected.
And there's his harvester, so I'm going to go ahead and just attack it, since there aren't any base defenses or units around it. And as you'll see here, his harvester won't really stand much of a chance. He has no units and really no defenses. And my naval yard is also completed, so we'll go ahead and I just now queued up some submarines, and I'm going to take those in. And I'm doubting he has many units even in the sea, so I'm going to bring those in and try and attack his construction yard, and possibly a naval yard if he has one of those. So there, as you can see, my harassment unit is still alive, and well, here comes a tank, so I'm going to go ahead and there you go. I transformed him into a jet, and I'm just going to fly away, and you'll see the jet fly by here in a second. There it goes. So you can actually transform that unit into a jet and fly away if it gets rough. So very good harassment unit early on. Very, very good for avoiding units, because the enemy won't think to get anti-air when they see you on the ground. So here comes another unit. I'm going to go ahead and morph into a dojo, and that's basically just like a barracks. And here comes my submarine, which is going to start attacking his construction yard. And he's a bit new, and he doesn't even bother unpacking his MCV and moving it on land, which would have avoided it being destroyed, as you'll see here. And I'm going to go ahead and, as you see, I just now placed that harassment unit over top of his oil derrick on his side of the map to monitor it. And there's his construction yard. I have submarines queued up and coming in. So he's not even, still hasn't unpacked it, so he's relatively new to the game, as you can see. Any experienced opponent would have already unpacked and moved on the land, and I would have had to have resorted to another strategy. But I'm going to go ahead and queue up some tsunami tanks and get those lined up at his base entrance to prepare an assault on land. And his construction yard is low on health now, so it's going down. And you'll see it destroyed here in just a second. And there comes my tsunami tank.
Oil derrick captured.
As you can hear, I just captured an old derrick with my engineer earlier, so that'll give me an extra source of cash. And so we're still just pounding away at this construction yard, and it's going to be destroyed right here. And there you go, he just now lost his construction yard, and as you'll see, I'm scouting with my submarines, but he has no buildings in the water, so basically I'm dominating the shoreline and he has nowhere to go in the sea. So now I'm going to move in with my ground forces since he's boxed in now, and just pound away at him.
A unit is under attack.
As you can see with the tanks, I'm using the reverse move so that they move backwards instead of turning around. And this is good to, once you use that move, instead of them revealing their backs, it helps you keep them alive longer. Because if you shoot a tank from the back, it does more damage. But this is basically all there is to it. I mean, he has nowhere to go and he's boxed in, and it's just a matter now of defeating him. And here it goes. This is the very end of the game here. And those big mech units that you see there are a mega Onis, I believe is what they're called, and they're pretty good units. As you can see, they fire out like these laser beams, and they do a lot of damage, and they're pretty strong too. They have a lot of armor. But he's basically dead. I'm just wiping out his base.